Good God, what just happened that we watched together? Kaylee Goncalves' sister, Olivia, with the most powerful victim impact statement I've ever heard, completely flipping the whole narrative, refusing to talk about her pain or to read, as she described it, from the journal she's been keeping as she's gone through all of the emotions following her sister's murder, something she considered doing, and instead going on offense, diminishing him, mocking him, laughing at him. Literally, there was a laugh at one point as she called him pathetic, a loser, and said in that moment that we're all still reeling from. Hold on, I want to get it because I wrote it down exactly. If you hadn't attacked them in the middle of the night while they were asleep, like a pedophile, Kaylee would have kicked your fucking ass. That was the position she came from, Olivia Gonzalez, from a position of strength as the big sister who always protected her younger sisters, as she called both Kaylee and her best friend, Maddie Mogan. Wow. That was something to watch. Steve Gonzalez, who originally had said he wasn't going to speak at all at this thing, got up, turned the lectern to face Bryan Kohberger, to stare him down and to have his say in the same defiant tone, with the same righteous anger he addressed him. Both of the Gonzaleses there, and the mother too, refusing to sound like they'd been victimized, saying, today you've lost control. You picked the wrong families, the wrong state, the wrong police. He said, your actions have united everyone in their disgust for you. None of us are divided. We're united in our disgust and in our love for our children. You have no name. We only call you BK. The media's been calling you that too. You're a joke, he said, Steve Gonzalez. He made the point that we've shared the videos of our 4 children with the world. That's what they know. They know their names. They know their joy. They know their love for one another. They know their zest for life. That's who they've been discussing, he said. The world is watching because of the kids, not because of you. No one cares about you. You'll be forgotten. From this moment, we will forget you. Ending with, you picked the wrong family. Again, we're laughing at you on your trip to the penitentiary. And then the big sister, Olivia, making it even more clear. Is the panel with me, Steve? Yeah, they're with me. Okay, back with me now. Phil Holloway, Howard Blum, and also Matt Murphy has joined us as well. Guys, that was extraordinary. Phil, I'll start with you.
Yeah, Megyn, I posted in response to something you posted on X during that statement by the sister is just the most powerful thing that I have ever heard in terms of victim impact statements. And I hope that her words will echo in his despicable brain for the rest of his natural life. Because look, he doesn't have to sit there in prison and worry about ever facing the firing squad in Idaho. But hopefully she has given him something to think about, and I hope that it haunts him for all of his days. All of these speakers did a very good job so far in expressing to the public what this kind of thing does to families. It shatters families. You bring step parents in, and you bring extended family in, and it just the reverberations of this type of cruel, evil attack just seem to be never ending. But these human beings have come into this courtroom and have expressed to the world now what the impact is of this type of a horrific crime. Even though it's not going to make one difference in the sentence, hopefully it gives this guy something to think about as he rots in prison.
It's satisfying to watch, whether it changes that sentence or not. There's something very satisfying about watching them say those things to him. Howard, the sisters, Olivia's remarks must have jumped out to you because of those questions she was asking him.
Yes, it was very poignant. It was Old Testament fury. She was just unleashing all her rage. Though at one point she said, "You're afraid to be ordinary." I think really when the people were discussing what they missed most, they missed the ordinary moments with their loved ones that they'll never have again. It was like a scene from the Thornton Wilder play where he comes back and he looks at his family having breakfast. He's in heaven and he can never have that experience again. And that's what they're missing. Kohberger's fate was that he could never be part of that world. He could never be ordinary. Right. It wasn't that he didn't want to be ordinary. He didn't know how to be ordinary.
Right. And she went through, Matt Murphy, it was fascinating, that those recitations, the questions that she asked, seemed to me to be pulled from Bryan Kohberger's questionnaire that he submitted as a PhD student in criminology. It was either as a PhD student or as a master's student at DeSales. But he submitted that questionnaire for criminals asking questions like the ones she posited there, like, why did you choose? And then she said, my sisters, referring to Maddie as her sisters, to detail you what you were thinking and feeling. If memory serves, these are pulled in part directly from his survey. And then she inserted her own questions, like, where's the second murder weapon you used on Kaylee, which was a brand new fact none of us had ever heard.
Well, she knows that with the prospect of a statement and allocution looming, he's going to have an opportunity perhaps to answer those questions. So she's calling him out ahead of time, which I think is very, very clever, because of course he's not going to answer any of those questions. Another thing that I think was incredibly powerful about that, and we've talked about this before, Megyn, is that when it comes to the personality of the psychopath, and that really is what I think Bryan Kohberger is, they don't really respond to things like a grandmother's tears or the emotional impact on a mother who's lost her child. They're almost immune from that sort of thing. But when it comes to the narcissism that is possessed by a lot of psychopaths, he cut deep. And using the language of people in their 20s, he heard all that. You're a loser, and you're basic, you're not profound, you're pathetic. And you're exactly right, Megyn. She obviously spent a lot of time going through his own writings and knew exactly where those exposed nerves were. And I'll tell you what, as I'm listening to that, it was incredibly powerful. I've sat through dozens and dozens and dozens of these things over the years, and that one will stand out, because if he listens to anybody, if he's going to go into prison with anybody's words ringing in his head, it is that woman just laying it out. And that last thing that you already hit on, if you hadn't attacked them in their sleep like a pedophile, and that's something he's got to be concerned about, especially if he ever sees or even sniffs general population, which I don't think he ever will. She is raising that, the sexual component that we talked about before. And my sister would have kicked your fucking ass. That is, he'll hear that, and he's going to remember those words, I think.
It was extra powerful because obviously this guy has like some seriously deep misogynistic issues. And so for this young, beautiful woman who he knows would also never have him, to stand up there and laugh at him and call him pathetic and a loser and tell him this other woman who he could only subdue because she was sleeping would have kicked his fucking ass was so powerful. A moment that you feel like while he has no empathy whatsoever for victims, he does have feelings about himself and his own deep inadequacies. And yes, she knew exactly how to twist the knife, which is, a perfect, for now, ending to their relationship. Since President Trump was sworn in, his administration has made enormous progress at a breakneck pace. But don't forget, while they're moving mountains for the good of the nation, you've got your own personal savings to worry about. And one of the best ways to look after your savings is through diversification, particularly with gold, like from Birch Gold Group. In the past 12 months, the value of gold has increased by 40%. OMG. Central banks continue to bolster demand for gold by buying in record quantities. Global instability and tension is high, and Birch Gold makes owning physical gold extremely easy. Easily convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold, or buy some to store in your home safe. Just text MK to the number 989898, and Birch Gold will send you a free info kit on gold. There's no obligation, just useful information. With an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers, take control of your savings today. Text MK to the number 989898. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.